ERP system. It's a Microsoft ERP system. And for those that have not heard about Dynamics 365 Business Central, a cloud ERP from Microsoft, I'll give a small preamble. Microsoft entered the ERP space in the early 2000s, of course, through a couple of software acquisitions. So right now, what we are sharing is no longer a subsidiary, but it is a part of a unified stack of Microsoft solutions. So we shall later on see that Dynamics 365 Business Central, being a cloud-based ERP, fully integrates with a number of very many other Microsoft products. Talking about the unified stack, in the middle of my PowerPoint that you're currently looking at, I have Dynamics 365 Business Central, and it's the core ERP here. And being an ERP, an enterprise resource planning solution system, it has a number of functionalities within the system that actually help automate business processes of an organization, ranging from the financial management aspect of an organization. We have sales and service management, we have project management, we have a whole chain, supply chain management in the system. We also have operations management, which actually has warehousing management and manufacturing. Then we also have reporting and analytics. On the left, we have Office 365. Office 365 is undisputed the leading Office product, most widely used all over the world. Of course, it comes with spreadsheets, it comes with word processors, emailing functionality, as well as collaboration. That is the Microsoft Teams, for those that have heard about it. And the beauty with this Office 365 is that it, out of the box, fully integrates with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So as we will see later on in my presentation, this can be easily, you can churn data from Excel in and out of the system. You can make approvals through our Outlook and emailing functionality. Then on the right, we have Power BI, the most highly rated business analytical tool. And by the way, the most cost-effective business analytical tool that is used to actually leverage from data that is provided by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central to come up with very meaningful dashboards, KPIs, performance management reports. Yeah, and out of the box, these two products are fully integrated. Then we have Cortana Intelligence, which is a suite of Microsoft Cloud Azure services that also leverages on Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central database to actually come up with meaningful, predictive information. Of course, this being a Microsoft product, cloud-based product, it runs on the Microsoft Azure. If you've heard about Azure, Microsoft Windows Azure, as the infrastructure backbone. And so that's where you see Azure Internet of Things and Power Platforms. I'll talk briefly about Power Platforms. Within Power Platform, we have things like Power Apps, we have Power BI and Flow. Power Apps are basically extensions that can be built on top of Dynamics 365 Business Central to actually come up with very many other automations. Then I've already talked about Power BI, and then Flow. Flow, of course, can pick data from Dynamics 365 Business Central as well as other systems, and then unifies them and comes up with unified business processes. So That explains the unified cloud application stack that Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central actually comes with. So many growing organizations outgrow their financial accounting systems as well as legacy accounting systems. Whereby such systems, can no longer handle the number of transactions from inventory. They have insufficient reporting. There's lack of integration between departments and processes. So think about what you have on your side, and if you have any of these challenges, then with your current system, that system might not be able to actually support your company growth. So that's why we now are here to actually case show Dynamics 365 Business Central. Yeah, Dynamics 365 Business Central here helps you actually connect your business processes as well as people. Being an ERP and fully integrated product, it all different functional areas are integrated and communicating with each other, and therefore you have a better view and management of your organization. As we will see, it being an ERP system, it comes with a number of functions that any other modern ERP system actually out there should have. So just like you can see, we have financials, project management, operations, sales, supply chain, reporting and analytics. And by the way, it being a modern product, fully integrates with very many other third-party applications like banks, CRM, industry-specific systems, PayPal, payments, yeah, as we will later on see. So, work where your business takes you. We, in the past 3 months, have been in the COVID pandemic era. We cannot run away from this new normal. This has forced many organizations to actually revise modalities of work in their working environments, people working from home. But how do people work from home and be able to access their operations just like they would have access to them if they were in office? With Dynamics 365 Business Central, you notice that you can actually work on a Windows platform. You can work on a tablet. You can work on a phone with same rich functionality all over all these devices. It is a web-based product. So all you need is actually a web browser to access this system. So you are able to continue working from wherever you are. Mobility is very key. Automate and secure business processes. As we are going to see, we have workflows inbuilt within the system. You no longer have to sign papers and move them to offices. So within the system, we already have inbuilt workflows where you initiate a transaction and actually send it for approval. And all these notifications for approval are actually automatically linked to within your email. So this also ensures that audit trails and enterprise level security is maintained. Makes smarter decisions. You will notice later on that when you log into the system, it right away gives you KPIs and dashboards that are meant to actually help you catch any likely anomalies. As we will later on see, these dashboards, you can actually hover over them with your mouse and actually get the details underlying such bar charts, as we will see. This is the look and feel. of one of a role center, an accountant's role center. As you can see, when somebody logs into it, the system is giving you graphical BI reports, it's giving you performance reports. You can scroll further down and find a number of very many other reports. Get an end-to-end view of your business because you have all these departments and functional areas working in the same system, and so you don't have to rely on somebody to provide you this information. It's an integrated system, all people working in the same database and therefore updating the same database. Whichever report you run is actually giving you data, correct, accurate data in real time. Put your efforts where it really matters. Imagine you log into the system and the system is actually telling you your top 5 customers are these. Your most sold item is this. This helps you as an organization to plan better, to ensure that you actually direct your capital towards things that actually make more revenue for the organization. Guide your employees to optimal outcomes. As you can see, the system is telling me here that Anthem's desk was popular, 18 units sold last month. So ideally, when you're making the procurements and requisitions, you make an order based on informed decision. Yeah, start and grow easily. Dynamics 365 Business Central is a very scalable product. So it is a product that allows you to actually start with functionalities that you actually need immediately, and then keep adding more modules as your operations expand. So basically, from what you can see here, it's a tailable product, and as a Microsoft certified partner, HRP Solutions, we also have a license to actually go back in and customize this product to suit the business requirements of an entity. So then within the working environment of the system, you can also move fields, drag one field from the left to the right, and that's called user personalization. And as you do that, the security is maintained and does not affect other users. A number of industry business extensions that Microsoft has come up with that can actually be accessed from the Windows App Store, that leverage from the data that is within Dynamics 365 Business Central, which helps you actually automate a number of very many other business processes. So we have things like SharePoint lists, CRM records, Microsoft Power Apps, all within the app source, and can actually integrate directly out of the box with Dynamics 365 Business Central. Be ready for growth. Start with what you need at your own pace to run your business securely in the trusted Microsoft cloud. So I will go into I will just straight away dive into the product so that we get a feel of what it is actually I've been talking about. Are you all able to see my screen? Raise your hand if you're able to see my screen. Raise your hand if you're able to see my screen. Great. Great. Okay. So what you're currently looking at is the feel and look of Dynamics 365 Business Central. And as you can see, I accessed it through my favorite browser, Chrome. So that means you
what
can
we
access.
are saying is not the field you're talking about. We are seeing presentation.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. So what you're looking at right now, I hope you're all seeing this now. I hope what you're seeing right now is the face, the look and feel of Dynamics 365 Business Central. And I have accessed this using my favorite browser, Chrome. So that means if you have a device with the browser, you can access this system from your device. The choice is basically yours. So, and yeah, this is how it looks like. And what you're seeing is a role center. This is a role center page. So I have logged into the system, and what the system defaults to my screen is a role center page, which I have already set up. So I'll come here and just show you. This is my accountant role center page. However, there are very many role centers that come with the system, and the role centers ideally relate to the job titles that are within your organization. You can create many other role centers. You can see that we have the accountant role center, we have a business manager, we have finance, we have sales orders, we have procurement, we have HR, we have warehousing, those people in charge of inventory. Yeah, so dependent on the role center that you actually log in, the system will dictate what you actually see on the first time login. For purposes of this demo, I will use my accountant role center. Okay, yeah, so this is my accountant role center. And as you can see, being an accountant, it is defaulting to roles and functionalities that an accountant does on a day-to-day basis. If, for example, I click on finance, you will see that we have journals used to capture transactions on a day-to-day basis. We have a chart of accounts, which is a collection of our balance sheet and income statement accounts. We have currencies for organizations that deal in multi-currency and need to always update their exchange rates. We have accounting periods. So basically, you can see. Then we have actions, we have a number of reports, all your financial statement reports within the same role center. Why did Microsoft do this? Microsoft is designed Dynamics 365 Business Central in order to improve productivity. It is looking more at productivity and efficiency from the users of their products. What you do in another product through 5 clicks should be able to be done within Dynamics 365 Business Central with actually fewer clicks. Therefore, you spend less time trying to retrieve whatever you want. Then the other thing is, because it is role center based, the learning curve of whoever is new and adopting this new system is shortened. You learn much faster because everything is readily available on your screen, whatever you need. So you don't need to search and actually try to master where you should find what in what area. Okay, so as you can see down here, I have insights. The system is bombarding me with information, telling me that my largest Salesforce order was this. As I scroll down on the side here, I have actions. I can view my reports. I can view my cash flow statements. I can create payments. I also have activities and intelligent cloud insights. Intelligent cloud insights. These are services that actually are within Microsoft Azure, but they also leverage on Dynamics 365 Business Central to actually give predictive information to the users. I'll just show you an example of my intelligent cloud insights. You can see that the system is giving me some KPIs. that show, hey, your sales profitability so far is standing at only 0.5%. Your inventory value is this. My insights: 8 of your customers are late with their payments to you. Why? So as a person in charge of your credit, you're able to catch this much faster and say, hey, why aren't this, paying? 21 invoices from your vendors are due payment this week. Do you have the cash flows to actually fulfill those payments? Yeah, so those are intelligent cloud insights. I'll go down. We have queues. Because the system has inbuilt workflows and approvals, as we are going to see. As an accountant who has logged into the system is able to give me queues and show me how many transactions are in my queue pending approval. So wherever you see a number, that means there are actions that I have to take against each of those queues. So it would be so rare for somebody not to see such actions that they are supposed to take. Yeah, so as I scroll down, you can see we also have insights on my cash flows. The system is giving me the cash flow forecast, and notice that as I hover above these cash flow forecast reports, the system gives me figures that relate to actually this cash flow forecast. So you can see receivables, payables, and therefore my net cash flow position. So we also have reports inbox. There are a number of reports that you can actually schedule to run here. Then in my former PPT, I talked about Power BI report, which I will also show you towards the end, which fully integrates with Dynamics 365 Business Central. And I told you Power BI is the one of the most rated, actually the most rated business analytical tool that leverages from data that's within Dynamics 365 Business Central, out of the box, by the way. So we also have things like self-service, timesheets. Lately, many organizations want employees to be accountable of their working time. So you also have all that within the same page of our role center. So I will, and then the beauty with Dynamics 365 Business Central is that the turnaround and setup time for you to actually pick it up and start running with it much quicker and faster is very, very short, because it being a cloud-based product, Microsoft has come up with assisted quick setups where you can go and use wizards, okay, to actually run setups for you. Imagine it's a new company, you come to your assisted setup and click setup company, and the system will take you through a wizard. And within a very short time, you will have your company fully set up. If you are moving from another accounting system and you need to do migration of your business data, you see there are already inbuilt migration data tools that help you migrate data from those accounting systems into Dynamics 365 Business Central. Ideally, this migration business wizard helps you move all your master data, your chart of accounts, your vendors, your customers, your opening balances in the quickest time possible, and therefore you're able to actually start using the system in the shortest time possible. You can see that we have a number of, I'll close this, I'll not go ahead with the migration. We also have things like approval setups, all as part of the wizard, email logging, setup of emails, as I will later on show you. Okay, yeah. So I'll go back to my role center and try to concentrate on some of the features that come with Dynamics 365 Business Central, particularly within, for example, my accountant role center. I will go to my finance menu. And for the start, I will go to my chart of accounts just to show you how a chart of accounts looks like. This is a chart of accounts. The chart of accounts window. This is a demo company, so I have my demo chart of accounts, and I just want to show you that a chart of accounts within Dynamics 365 Business Central is all coded. So each account within the chart has a unique code and therefore a unique identifier within the system that later on when we pull reports, we can actually filter by this code. We also have a clear, very systematic arrangement of our chart of accounts. For example, you can see that at the top here I have balance sheet, but within balance sheet accounts I have asset accounts. Within asset accounts I have other subcategories like fixed assets, and within fixed assets I have tangible fixed assets. Within tangible fixed assets I have land and building. But now within land and building I have posting accounts. As you can see, I have these posting accounts. The headings are usually bold, but I have my posting accounts, and my posting accounts show me balances seated on them right on the face of my chart of accounts. So, and you look at this coding criteria, I have room for growth. Therefore, the system allows you to grow as your business grows. So if you have more accounts, for example, to add within this section of land and building, you can see between 10 and 20, I have an allowance of 9. I have another allowance of 9 in between all these. So it gives you room to actually design and custom make a chart of accounts that facilitates future growth. And for transparency, you will see that when I hover over a figure within my chart of accounts, my net change or balance, I am able to actually, the system is able to pull up the transactions that make up that balance. So you access information in a much quicker way. It is very easy to create an account. As long as you're a super user and you have permissions, you just come here and create an account. Specify whether it's an income statement account or a balance sheet account, and then have it commissioned within the system. I will take you to one of the very beautiful features that Dynamics 365 Business Central actually comes with, and this is called the GL account categories. GL account categories. I love this feature. This feature helps you group your chart of accounts into categories that your master financial statements actually pick from. As you can see, I have assets. For example, for a balance sheet, I have assets, I have current assets, I have fixed assets, I have liabilities, I have equity, These are the bigger global sections that make up my balance sheet. But I am able to actually come in here and say, okay, under current assets, I have cash. But which range of accounts within my chart of accounts actually make up my cash balance? So that your master financial statement reports are condensed into a summary that is actually required by the organization. So as you can see, I have cash, I have fixed assets, I have all these. So all my master financial statements, like my balance sheet, will pick from here. My income statement will pick from here. My statement of cash flows will pick from here. Because you see, as I make these groupings here, I'm able to tell that my account receivables actually contribute to my cash flows from operating activities. My inventory, cash flows from operating activities. My equipment, cash flows from investing activities. So later on, when I am running my cash flow statement report, the system is actually able to pick these and categorize them clearly very well for you in your financial statement reports. Yeah. So any modification that you require to this, as an example, I have just this account that I created. I created it in the chart of accounts. I'll just show you very fast. I'll come back to my financials. This is my chart of accounts. I created an account. By the way, I have very powerful filtering options. So I created an account called CSR. I will search for it by, as you can see, I can search by number, I can search by name, I'll search by CSR. Okay, let me just try to see my chart of accounts. Let me clear my filters. So as you can see, the chart of accounts is quite a very big chart of accounts. I just created an account here called CSR, the short form for corporate social responsibility. It could be an expense for any company. When I created it under my sales and expense section, and of course, after I created it, it was so easy for me to actually come and create it and add it to my financial statement reports by coming to my GL account categories and create a CR component here, called it an expense, and defined which account it actually picks from within the chart of accounts. So after doing that, I'll actually now show you how easy it is to actually generate these financial statements from within Dynamics 365 Business Central. These are the master financial statements. You can run them either through Excel. That means you want a balance sheet to go to Excel, or your cash flow statement to Excel. Most people want to run them in Excel so that they can add explanatory notes or be able to add more columns and graphical information. So within here, let me just run for you a sample of my balance sheet from within the system. I'll run one as of 30th June 2020. I'll try to preview this. I'll try to resize this. I hope you are able to actually see it. This is my balance sheet, and this is actually picking from my GL account categories. So I have a balance sheet printed from the system out of the box. This report can be sent to Excel, it can be sent to Word or PDF. The choice is yours, or actually emailed to whoever needs it. Come here and just show you a sample of my cash flow statement, still as of 30th June 2020. Out of the box, I have my cash flow statement, and so the system is able to categorize and give me all my details. Cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from investing activities, cash flows from my financing activities, and my cash and cash equivalents at the end of it all. Print this off the system. So you don't have to do anything in Excel to actually prepare your financial statements. You have all these readily extractable from the system right away. Yeah. So a number of very many other reports. We also have our income statement, which you can still run. Let me see what this has to give me. Yeah, this is an income statement that actually gives me my net income position. As you can see, it gives me my net income position. Yeah, so you can print this, you can send it to Excel, you can PDF it. The choice is yours, as you can see. You can send this to either PDF or Word to Excel, whichever you want. Okay. Yeah, so the other very beautiful feature that Dynamics 365 Business Central comes with is dimensions. Dimensions. I'll go to dimensions. They can be accessed either through searching. By the way, I hope you see how easy it is to actually access functionality from within Dynamics. I had an option to search, or as long as you know the name of what you're looking for. As I type dimensions, the system is bringing me anything that has a caption called dimension in it. Or I can access my dimension menu from my finance, and then I access it directly. So these are dimensions. And what are dimensions, basically? Dimensions, these are analytical tools that help us add extra information to transactions that we capture within a system. I just showed you in the chart of accounts that, for example, we have a CSR account. That is a corporate social responsibility account. However, an accountant may want to capture more details against that that expense account. So I'll just show you values. For example, I have a dimension called business group, department, project, donor, purchase, sales campaign, salesperson. So I can attach any of these values for each of these dimensions to a transaction that I capture. So later on, I can extract reports more specific to these dimensions. So I'll just show you, for example, for my donor. My donors, I have Danida, I have GIOU, Government of Uganda, I have USAID. These are dimensions set up in the system. So I will show you later on that when you actually capture a transaction, you are able to tag a donor or a department or a project to a specific transaction. Okay, so I will I'll go to other features that make the system very wonderful to work with. I'll go to for example, to the journals. I'll go to the journals. When I click journals, the system gives me a list of batches. Batches are like workspaces within the system. Working spaces. If this is a journal, for example, for cashiers, an organization can have 3 different cashiers. Each cashier should have their own workspaces and voucher books, basically. So the system allows you to create as many work areas for all those people that might be required to actually have different work areas within the organization. So I will go to one of my work area created in here. I'll just use this default work area. Okay, and I just show you. So as you can see, this is a journal. I have an option of showing more columns or hiding them. I have an option of hiding this section here so that my window actually widens up. So this is a journal. And now in this journal here, I can, as you can see, I have a right to hide or show any column that I want by going up here to my setup and I say design. So I am able to add any field that could be hidden on this journal. As you can see, all those that have ready are not here, but they are ready for placement into my journal window. Those that have a status place are already available here. So if you're looking for anything that you actually may require to add here, you just pick it and drag it and drop it here, okay? Or actually drag this and remove it from this window. So which helps people to come up with custom personalizations that actually do not affect. Imagine I'm a cashier and I do this, I had to hide or add a field. Another cashier's window is not affected. Only mine is affected. So everyone does their own things actually independently, which is a very big plus. So now I will come here. I am still in the journal here. As you can see, I can choose another batch if I wanted to. I can choose month end entries. When I choose the month end entries, the system gives me transactions that are within that batch. I am able to switch to different batches because I'm a super user within this. Then also notice that up here, when I say design, I have a tablet view, desktop view. I have a tablet view. If I'm using a tablet, that's how a tablet looks like. I can switch views depending on the device actually I am using. If I'm using my phone, I will choose my phone view. Okay, I'll choose back my tablet. Yeah, so for now, let me just stop this. Okay, yeah, so back to my my journal page. I'll go back to my month-end entries to illustrate something small here. Yeah. Okay, and for purposes of demonstration, let me remove these entries from here and then show you. These are month-end entries, so I can remove them. Let me remove them. I'm able to remove because I'm a super user. So assuming every end of the month as an organization, you have entries that you capture that are similar in description, in amount, but just the date changes. Assuming there are 1,000 entries, these entries are captured every month, every end of the month. We have a functionality here within Dynamics 365 Business Central that allows for actually saving whatever you have entered as a standard journal, and then at a later date you actually extract it. You just come here and get standard journal. So for purposes of this demo, I had already saved the standard journal. I'll just come here and get a standard journal. So the system is asking me which journals. There could be very many. In my case, I have my say payroll journal. So the system will go in and extract my journals and repopulate them here. So all I need to do is to review, look at them, and make any revisions that might be necessary before you actually send them for approval or posting if that is part of your business requirement. So even in the journal, after entering such a transaction, for example, before you post it, notice that under actions, I have to seek approval request. Basically, what does this do? I can send an approval request for an entire batch or a selected journal or a selected journal line. If I do a batch, then it sends all these entries to whoever is supposed to actually carry out the approvals within the system. Yeah. So for purposes of this journal here, I will just come here. I'm a super user, so I'll post them. So these transactions are successfully posted. So basically, in a very short time, I am able to capture, recapture, and capture transactions that I enter on a day-to-day basis, on a monthly basis, in a very, very short time, and actually have them posted. Yeah. Now I want to show you something called workflows. I talked about workflows in my PPT. What are workflows? Automated workflows. Basically, workflows are approvals throughout the entire system. As you can see, I have a number of workflows defining the system, either journals, incoming documents, approvals for vendors. When I create a vendor in the system, I can define an approval process for such a vendor before you actually start transacting with them. I have purchase invoices, I have purchase orders. You go in, as I will show you in my next demo. You can create a purchase order, have it sent for approval, have an invoice processed for approval, have the payments relating to those orders also processed for approval. We have sales and marketing, create an item for approval. Those that have inventory here, I think it is also very key that unit prices are well managed. Who is able to change prices of an item? So we have approval workflows for items. We have approval workflows for credit limits. I know whoever customers and clients you deal with, you actually do sometimes give them credit. So who is supposed to approve credit limits beyond certain amounts? So you have all those workflows already inbuilt within within the system. So so for purposes of demonstrating how actually workflows work, I will demonstrate a P2P process. A P2P process is a procurement to processing a payment. Okay, so I will raise a purchase order. We will send this purchase order to the supplier. The supplier will deliver the things we've ordered for. They will also deliver an invoice for payment, processing payment. Then we shall go ahead and process payment. So I will come here and click purchase orders. So when I click purchase orders, it gives me a list of very many purchase orders. That means my demo company has already very many other existing purchase orders, but I want to create a new one. So I'll come here and click new. I'll click new. There are some basics I have not taken you through, but notice that I have vendors within the system. So that means I already have my pre-qualified supplier list within the system. So I'm just going to pick suppliers, any supplier from the system. So for purposes of this demo, I'll pick London Postmaster as my supplier. And notice this purchase order has a header, but it also has lines. The header gives the details of the supplier, and then the line is where we're going to choose what we actually intend to purchase from this supplier. These details of address, the contact names for this supplier are all coming from the supplier card because the supplier is already existing in the system. So I'll come here and pick what do I want to buy from this supplier. My demo company has deals in automobile. So it has bicycles as stock, it has tires as stock, it has all these hardware as stock. So I will try to order, for a bicycles from this supplier. Okay, so I come here and say what quantity, how many units? Maybe 10 units. 10 units. I'll come and say you probably have a quotation from that supplier. So I am ordering, maybe my bike is $500. So that means 10 times 500 is 5,000. Yeah, so this is my purchase order basically. Now notice the status of this purchase order is open. That means it is just lying here, not yet approved. So I cannot do anything with such a purchase order if it is not, it's not yet approved. So I will come here on the header, as you can see, and say request approval. Now, for purposes of this demo, I have set myself up as both an initiator and approver. I am a super user. So I will now click request approver, and then we see what happens. Okay, so I have sent for an approval, and automatically the status of my order is released. Released within the system means that this order has been actually approved. But the person obviously receiving this order had a number of options. They would either reject or approve or delegate to somebody else if they're actually busy. So you can see the approval trail of this order is actually also kept within the system. It shows you that purchase order number this was approved, and it is approved by Ronald Kanyike. This is my single sign-on user ID within my computer. So it is giving me the user ID. And how much is the amount, when has this been approved, and what time was it approved? So, which is very key for audit trail. So as you post and transact against this order, you have a proper audit trail kept against your transactions. Yeah, so basically, after generating an order, what next? After it has been approved, what next? Usually you have to send this order to the supplier. So we have a number of options here. As you can see, we can send this order either by email to the supplier. That is if they have an email address placed on their vendor card. You can send it by email in PDF format, okay? Or you have an option to actually print this order. For my case, I will not print, but I will preview it. Let me preview the order so that we see how it looks like. This is a purchase order. As you can see, we are making an order from my supplier, London Postmaster. The system is giving me my prices, including VAT, unknown. What am I ordering for? It gives them to me here, right on the face of this order. This order can be tailored. What you're looking at now here can be tailored to suit a format, any format of any other organization. Add their logos. Maybe if people want them printed, they want the signatories to be appended here on the purchase order. Okay, so this is how an order looks like. Yeah, so you print it, you send it to the supplier, close your system, maybe go home. 2 weeks or the following day, the supplier responds. They respond by either delivering against this order, delivering the buy scores together with an invoice, if that is the case. So when they make that delivery, you actually come back against this same order, and then you come to our posting tab, come to posting, and then say post. Now, when you click post, what happens? The system gives me 3 options. We have receive, we have invoice, we have receive and invoice. What is receive? That is if the supplier has only delivered my buy scores, but they have not delivered the invoice. You are at liberty to receive them, and when you receive, what happens? The system generates a goods received note, which you can give to the person that has delivered. However, if the supplier has delivered both the items and the invoice, you go to the very last option. This option only applies if you first receive and then you invoice. Now, let's try to receive and see whether the system is actually going to accept this. No, you need to enter the document number from the vendor. These are inbuilt controls from the system. How can you capture and commit an obligation in the system that has no invoice? You gave somebody an order. When you're paying them, they have given you an invoice. That invoice has a vendor number. So you have to capture that invoice number against this order in order for you to be able to actually close it off. I am going to assume my invoice number is vendor 00 VN002. Okay, that's my assumption. So I'll come back here and try to post, receive an invoice. Notice which supplier are we working with? This is 1060026 London Postmaster. So I'll receive an invoice. The order is posted as number this and moved to the posted purchase invoice. When that happens, just know an accrual has actually been created. And so this is the posted purchase invoice. This is my posted purchase invoice. And it shows you the total PO value excluding VAT, as well as my PO with VAT. My demo company has 25% as VAT. That's why you see 1250 as my VAT. Yeah. So basically, if now I go to this supplier here, London Postmasters, I'll go to this supplier, my vendors, which I can also access by actually searching vendors, and then go to my London Postmaster vendor card. You will see that my vendor has a balance on the card, 120,346.4. As you can see, I can hover. I can click on this and look at the underlying details of this balance. We just posted an invoice. This is the invoice with this external document number. As you can see, order number that. And it shows you it has a remaining amount. That means it's not yet paid. Yeah, so that means now we've created an obligation. This has, by the way, been also posted to our chart of accounts because this module is fully integrated to our chart of accounts. So anyone now who runs a payables report gets real-time balances accurately with the latest postings. So we shall go and see how do we make payment now for this particular supplier. I'll come here. For us to make payment, we go to cash management and then use payment journals. Okay, I'll go to payment journals now. So within payment journals, I will go in and say, okay, still within payment journals, I have different batches because people that make payments could be different in the organization. We have people that make payments through cash. We have those people that make payments through bank transfers. Maybe each bank also has a person who processes payment for it. Yeah, all that. So I'll come here and use this work area, my bank payment. I'll come in here and say, okay, what am I doing? I want to process payment to which supplier? This is my debit. Of course, I'm going to debit and credit. So I'm going to pick my supplier. London Postmaster is the one I am making payment for. Of course, you can customize the description, maybe type payment for bicycles. How am I paying this person? Maybe I'm paying them through a bank transfer. You can capture payment references if there are internal payment requisitions that have happened within the system. So now I will I'll say I'm making a payment from this bank, my WWB operating bank account. But what am I paying for? I'm paying for an invoice. Which invoice am I paying for? You see, I have picked an invoice, and now the system gives me liberty to actually look up all the outstanding invoices seated on that supplier, as you can see. You see, as I scroll, I see this invoice here. This is the one that we actually want to process payment for. I'll click OK. When I click OK, I had not entered amount. Now I have my amount already pre-populated in my journal. And that's it. I can attach a department or project to which this relates to. You remember the dimensions I talked about? Yeah. If you're paying by check, sometimes you need an external document number, so you capture a check number against this payment. That's the external document number. Yeah. So if this also requires an approval, you initiate an approval request, which actually sends this transaction to whoever is supposed to process to approve the payment. And then you actually come here after all that is done, and then you click post. Journal lines were successfully posted. And in that case, what has happened? I can go back to my vendor, look at London Postmasters, edit, look at my figure. Do you see that it has reduced? I can go to the vendor ledger entries. When you go to the vendor ledger entries, you'll notice that we had this invoice. But we have also posted this payment, as you can see. So and this net off, and you will see that the remaining amount is actually now 0. So that means this has actually been cleared. And so it has actually been closed off by you seeing this open column. It is no longer open. We don't have a tick in the open column. So basically, that's how simple it is. But I also want to show you something that is extremely very important for a modern day accountant. Within the payment journals, edit journals, I'll go back to this journal here. Many organizations actually batch payments. They usually look at obligations that the company has in totality before they process payment, before they decide on what to pay. So within Dynamics 365 Business Central, we have a batch job that helps us pre-populate. Pre-populate your payment journal so that you decide actually what to pay. So I'll come here and say suggest vendor payments. That is in my preparation. I'll come here and say suggest vendor payments. This batch job here allows me to actually use the system to generate for me all obligations that the company might be having, okay, at a particular point in time. So when I use it to generate all my obligations and I click OK, you have created suggested vendor payment lines for all currencies. As you can see, the system populates my entire my journal with all transactions, outstanding invoices that actually need payment. As you can see, it has suggested which invoices to pay, and it uses a number of criteria. Is this invoice due? Does this invoice attract penalty if we exceed its payment date? Availability of funds. Why should it suggest an invoice that is way above the available funds within the organization? Yeah. So that's a very beautiful feature. Yeah. So we have closed off our payments. I will run straight away to another process, a sale to a cash receipt process. Issue a quotation, for example, to a customer. That customer okays that quotation. You send them an order confirmation. You send them the items. You invoice that customer, and then chase for payment from that customer. We have all those processes right inbuilt within the system. So I will go right away to my sales order process. So I'll come to my customers. I will choose a customer here, maybe Canon Group. I'll say Canon Group has approached me and they need a quotation. So I'll come here and select quotation. Notice also for this module also in the sales process assumes that I have my customers already all created within the system. If you don't have a customer or a contact already created in the system, you first create them, and then you're able to generate a quotation or an invoice for them. So when I picked this customer, my header was pre-populated with the details that are actually seated on this customer card. I'll come here and say, what does this customer actually need from me? This customer requires a quotation for bicycles. Maybe they want 4 pieces of a bicycle. So my system already has prices already preset in the system. So it has already populated the unit price column. And if you're a super user, you can change that, or if you're a person authorized to change that, you can change that. So this is a sales quotation, may be generated by this salesperson. Notice that I have attached a salesperson to this sales quotation, because many organizations lately, salespeople earn commission. So every sale that actually comes through has to be tracked to a salesperson for you to be able to actually compute their commission accurately. So I generate a quotation. I'm a salesperson. Do I just send it out to the customer? Maybe no. Within the organization, you probably require to send it to your sales manager for approval before it is actually sent out. You can see that its current status is open. So I'll come here to actually either actions, request for approval. So I'll come here and send for an approval request. As you can see, because I have been set up as both an initiator and approver within the system for purposes of managing our time, the quotation has been approved. And once the quotation has been approved, what next? You have a liberty to either send it to your customer by email or actually print it and have it signed. And have it signed before you actually send it to them. You can also either PDF the document or send it to Word, whichever you prefer. The choice is yours. Okay? Yeah. So assuming I have printed, let me just preview the quotation so that you're all able to see how it looks like. I'll try to preview it. So this is a quotation. Some people call it a pro forma. These captions can always be revised and changed, and this quotation can be revised to suit or conform to the format of any organization's template. So this is my quotation, 4 pieces of my bicycle. This is the unit price. Each unit attracts VAT of 25%. And therefore, this is my total figure. Yeah. So I give this quotation to my customer. It basically has no financial implication until this customer gets back to me, either asking me to proceed and deliver to them. What happens is, if a customer has a system, they will probably generate a purchase order that reflects the quotation that you have sent to them. Sometimes, or most times, some of these clients don't have that. If they don't have such systems, then Dynamics 365 Business Central has to facilitate you to actually make business by allowing you to actually generate an order confirmation now against that quotation that you sent to that client. So I'll come back here and say, okay, where are my sales quotations? Maybe the customer has gotten back to me after 1 week. So I'll go back to my sales quotations. Our sales quotation that we generated is here. I can view it. This is the quotation. So I'll come back here and say, hey, okay, it is the salesperson following up. Comes back and say, hey, by the way, this customer has agreed they want this. So what happens is you will transform this quotation into an order. Okay. You will transform this quotation into an order. So you'll come here and say create order. Okay. Do you want to convert this quotation to an order? You'll click yes. So now the process has started. We had the quotation. We now have an order. Now this order, they say the quotation has been converted into order 1001. Do you want to open this order? I'll click yes. So this is my order. And as you can see, it reflects exactly the same details that I had on the quotation. So in case this customer has not sent you a purchase order, you are at liberty to actually come in here and say, print for me an order confirmation. By the way, at this level also, depending on your business processes, you have a liberty to send this for approval. So I can come here and say request for approval, still to the sales manager because it is open. So I will come here and first send an approval request. So it is approved and released. So I'll come here and print an order confirmation, or actually email this order confirmation. I'll come here and say email the order confirmation, which that client will print and sign against and say, yes, I confirm, please go ahead and deliver against this order confirmation. Or I can actually print and have my courier send this order confirmation. So I'll just preview to you how this order confirmation looks like. This can be modified to suit any template that you may require as an organization. Yeah, so that's it. Assuming I have sent the order confirmation to the supplier, to the customer has approved. Ideally, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to satisfy the requirement of your customer by delivering what they have asked you to give to them. So you'll come here and say order, posting, sorry, and then you say post. Look, on the purchases module we had receive and invoice. Here we have ship and invoice. Ship because we are removing things from our warehouse and sending them out. So you have a liberty to either ship first and delay the invoice, or ship an invoice. Okay? Yeah. So for purposes of time, I will ship an invoice. And what does this do? The system will generate for us 2 documents. It will generate for us a delivery note as well as a sales invoice or a tax invoice per se. Okay, so I'll post this. So the system is telling me order is posted and moved to posted sales invoices. Posted sales invoices. Yeah, beautiful. This is my posted sales invoice. I can print my invoice or email the invoice to actually the customer. So I'll print it for now. Let me preview it. So we all look at how it looks like. Okay, this is our invoice. Clearly stating our payment terms, when this invoice is due for payment, for the customer to process payment. Yeah, so so once this is sent to the customer either by email or printing and actually couriering to you courier to them, what would be required of this customer is to actually process payment. Okay, so if we now go to this customer, if we go to this customer card, and have a look at them, you will see that there is a balance. If you see hover over this balance, I am able to see the details of my invoice. I'll collapse this so you can see this is the invoice. Invoice from order number this of 20,000 GBP. Okay, so now the duty of the customer to make payment. Now, dependent on how your customer pays you, the system is able to facilitate all that. You come to cash management and do a cash receipt journal. Okay, so you do a cash receipt journal. Maybe your customer has paid you through a bank. So you will come here and then say, okay, my customer has processed a payment. When they process a payment, we debit our bank. So I'm going to debit my bank. They are making payment to my WWB operating. How much are they processing payment for? If it's a partial payment, I'll state it here. But if they're making full payment, I'll just come here and choose the invoice. So I'll say, these guys are making a payment for an invoice. Which invoice? So when I look up this customer card, no, this has to be credit customer. I am crediting my customer. So then here, I am able to look up all outstanding invoices seated on this customer. And as you can see, the system looks up and shows me all the invoices seated on this customer. I'll choose OK to this particular invoice. When I choose OK, the system will pre-populate my amount, okay? My amount column with the amount. Note, the amount is less. This is an incentive that has been given to this customer that when you pay within 5 days, you get a payment discount. So all these facilities are actually inbuilt in the system, actually help you trade as easily as you can as an organization. So that's it. If this payment for it to be committed in the system also requires approval process, as you can see, you can also seek approval request for it. For now, I'll have it posted into the system. Journal line successfully posted. Yeah, so that's it. What does that mean? That on my customer card, the customer balance has actually reduced. It was initially about 180,000. It is now 168. We can actually go in and look at the ledger entries relating to this customer. You will notice that we have a payment that has gone into the system of this much. Okay, and therefore the system closing this off. Okay, yeah, I can navigate onto this entry. If I navigate on this and then I say customer, I can line and say entry, navigate. So you can see you have a number of GL entries. That means this transaction is fully integrated to our general ledger. So we have, the system has processed payment. It has processed payment of 19,600. It has also processed a payment discount to one of my expense account. It must have this account 9,250. Yeah. So basically, that closes off our sale to cash receipt process. So now there is something I wanted to talk to you about. Modern operations require that any system that you're actually adopting is able to take on multi-currency transactions. So as you can see, the system has all currencies in the system, and therefore you can process a transaction in any currency. I'll go to this USD and we have a look at it. This is a USD currency. We can actually provide exchange rates as well for this currency within the system. I have seen in the Europe, these exchange rates can actually be updated automatically through an exchange rate service because they are API integrations within their central banks and their systems. Yeah. So unfortunately here in Uganda, you have to do a manual update of your exchange rates. Now, what comes into your mind when we have exchange rates, different currencies within an organization, is the system able to compute for you gains and losses automatically? Yes, the system actually does that and provides for the integration directly to your chart of accounts for both realized gains, realized losses, unrealized gains, and unrealized losses. And it separates all these because they have tax implications. I understand unrealized are unallowed for tax purposes and realized are allowed sometimes. Yeah. So so you are able to manage your foreign currency transactions seamlessly, and the system is able to do for you the translations automatically for you. Yeah, and better still, the system also gives you an option to actually, I will just show you general ledger setup. The system gives you liberty to actually also define another reporting currency, so that you actually are able to generate your reports in different currencies of your choice. So the system allows you to define another additional reporting currency. So imagine a system that is able to give you reports in your base currency, your GX. It is able to give you your reports for your donors or other stakeholders that actually require them in another currency. So that's also a very beautiful added feature that is beautiful within Dynamics 365 Business Central. Now, last but not the least, how do you control expenditure and budgeting within Dynamics 365 Business Central? Are you able, is the system able to actually help you do something like that? Yes, I will take you to our GL budgets. GL budgets. You can have as many budgets in the system. Some organizations have revised budgets, they have approved budgets, they have supplementary budgets. Yes, so you can have as many budgets as possible within the system. So for my case, I'll go to one of the budgets here. I'll just go to one of the budgets here. I'll go to one of the budgets just to set up for my demo purposes. And for purposes of your count, I can budget by month, I can budget by week, I can budget by the smallest unit of period being a day. I have never seen anyone budget by day, but Dynamics 365 Business Central is able to actually allow you budget to the smallest unit of a day. So in my case, I'll choose probably a quarter. I'll choose a quarter. And so when I select this budget here, we can budget by either by cost center, those are the dimensions I talked about, or by my chart of account. So if I choose chart of account, you will actually see that I am able to see my chart of accounts displayed. My chart of accounts displayed against my budget and my periods. Okay, yeah. And Microsoft also understands that many accountants actually always want to do budgeting in Excel and then upload these budgets in Excel. The beauty with Dynamics 365 Business Central is that the system allows you generate budgeting templates from Excel, and then you import your budgets from Excel, which is a very beautiful feature that any accountant would actually love to have in the system. Now, when you capture your budget, how does the system help you actually generate reports that relate to your budget? Okay, I'll come here and just show you one of the reporting tool that we have in Dynamics, which is called the account schedule tool. Okay, so I will go to my account schedule. My account schedule. You can have as many account schedule reports in the system as possible. And this is a very easy tool that can be used even or configured by even a non-technical person. For purposes of this demo, I'll just come here and see, okay, can I view a report that can give me my budget vis-a-vis my actuals and then my variance for expenses of a given period? I'll come here and select one of these reports. I'll come here and say, process this, let me overview this report and see. Okay, let me view it by year. You also at liberty to specify the period for which you want this budget analysis report to show. And here I am. I have a report that is showing me my expenses. It is showing me my actuals, my budgets, vis-a-vis my variances, okay, for a given period. If I chose to Let me change the period and see whether the figures change. Still by year. Yeah, I have more figures budgeted for in 2020. So let's use these. Let me preview this report so that we see how it looks like. We can actually send it to Excel, export to Excel, or have it printed. We will do both. Instead of printing, for my case, I'll preview. I will preview. I notice these are reports that accountants struggle a lot to generate in organizations that actually lack ERP systems. So on a fly, I am able to generate this report that shows me my actuals, shows me my budget, and then shows me my variance. So you're able to see whether you are in a favorable position or unfavorable. So this helps you make quite informed decisions as an organization. Okay, yeah. So this report can be sent to Excel for those that actually want to add explanatory notes on it. So you can create a new document. As you can see, because the system is fully integrated with Microsoft, so you can see it has churned this report into Excel. So now you can add an explanatory note. You can put some color. You can yeah, but we have exact figures, at least outrightly generated right away from Dynamics. So we have very many other things that I may not be able to talk about because of time. We have about just 20 minutes remaining. We have bank accounts for which the system also allows for automation of bank account reconciliations. As you can see, this is a bank account reconciliation statement where you are actually able to process import bank statements for those of you that work with banks that provide soft copy bank statements. At least I have tried with Stanbic, Stanchart, Citibank, and former Barclays. They all are able to provide soft copy bank statements, which you are able to actually import into the system and then use the available matching tools within the system to actually help you reconcile your cash book entries with your bank statement balance, bank statement entries. Yeah. So so basically that is what I have. That is what I have for you. We also have we have something to do with Power BI, which is fully integrated with Dynamics 365 Business Central here. I will I'll just show you just a glimpse of this. I'll show you a glimpse of my Power BI. This is Power BI. I mentioned that Dynamics 365 Business Central is just a part of a stack of unified Microsoft Business Solutions, which fully integrates with Dynamics 365 Business Central. So as an organization, you may have people that you actually don't want to be working into your core ERP system, but you're feeding them dashboards and financial statements through another platform that fully seamlessly integrates with Dynamics 365 Business Central. And one of them is this Power BI. As you can see, you're able to come up with financial dashboards and publish them onto a portal that can be accessed by any person. So you can view these. You can actually export them to Excel. You can come up with you can print them. Yeah, and you can come up with as many reports, many reports. For this webinar, I just searched 20 minutes ago and came up with a few simple reports that I'm able to show you here. Yeah. So for now would like to end my presentation. Like to end my presentation here. We go into a Q&A session. Over to you, Ida. Thank you very much.
Ronald. I think that was very insightful. So we'll go into a Q&A. Just to be organized, we can type in the meeting in the chat. You can just type your question, or if you think that you can unmute your microphone and speak very clearly and very quickly so that we all don't get interfered. Or alternatively, whoever wants to ask a question can raise their hands and then we can have a queue. So there we go. We welcome the questions now. Ronald, some of the questions are in the group chat.
Okay, yeah, I am looking at them. Evelyn, thank you very much. How much does this cost in case the organization wants to actually upgrade? This depends on a number of things. For the sake of the other members, Evelyn is from IAVI. This is International Vaccine Initiative that is already running Dynamics Nav. Dynamics Nav is the earlier version of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And so they already have a license. Basically their upgrade would be strictly concentrated on consultancy. And outrightly, Evelyn, I cannot give you the figure off the hook, but I can work it out back end and share it with you, maybe today or early in the week, next week. I hope that is okay with you. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, Ronald?
Yes.
Philbert here.
Yes, Philbert.
Yeah, thanks so much for this incredible presentation. We are exhausting the capability of the finance accounting application. Much appreciated. My issue is on we've been struggling looking for our company API Technical Services. We've been struggling to look for a solution to have all our processes integrated. From what you've talked about, we're looking at warehousing, purchasing, accounting, which you've gone through, connecting it to the engineering side. And I've been looking on your website, on the Microsoft website, there's another app for the field service because we are in project management. So is that the integration for the entire chain? Is that one of the things that MS365 can take on, and what you've taken us through to extend and go to field service application?
Okay. Philbert from API Technical Services.
Correct.
Thank you so much for that question. Actually, if I take you just briefly back to my the functionalities of Dynamics 365 Business Central, you can clearly see that it has operations management. Now, this operation is a very broad, it's a very broad terminology that actually has warehousing management, warehouse picks, and putaways and bins. It also has manufacturing, production bombs for people that actually do fully fledged manufacturing processes. We have routings, production bombs, work centers, machine centers, all fully defined in there. So if I may to answer you, yes, Dynamics 365 Business Central has all these capabilities. Unfortunately, for the sake of this demo, I could not exhaust everything at a go.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Philbert, maybe we can organize and have a conversation out of this to see if we can demonstrate your the needs, your needs to API technical. I know that if you're asking about warehouse management, then it must be very important and very key to you. So we can have a conversation out of this just for you to see the capabilities under warehouse management.
I would very much appreciate that idea.
All right.
Hello. Okay, I have another question from a guest, Herbert, Nile Basin Discus. Thank you so much for this question, Herbert. Is Dynamics 365 Business Central still limited only one additional currency? Okay, out of the box, we have one additional reporting currency, but given the reporting abilities and business analytical tools that come as part of the unified stack of Dynamics 365 Business Central, you are able to actually extract all other financial statements within another reporting currency. So I hope that answers. I hope that answers my colleague Herbert. Any other question?
Evelyn, I can see that your hand is raised. Do you want to maybe unmute your microphone and ask directly?
Ronnie, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
I want to take you back to the approval process and the purchase, on the order processing, approval process of the local purchase order. What I want to find out, when you're releasing the order, do we have to put signatures in? Because some of our signatories want signatures. Can we customize that in this system? And yes, I just want to know about that, releasing the order, because it's sort of like an approval process. And when auditors come in, for them, they expect that when you're approving, when you're releasing an order, there have to be signatures in the system. Is there a way you can do that in the system? I just want to know.
Yes, that is very, very possible. Actually, for some of our clients are already using those signatures in the system. you either choose to use your Windows signature or an uploaded signature against your user within the database, and so we are able to actually pull that signature and attach it onto any document that you actually require to be printed with that signature. But as well as stamping, because for workflow processes, we would also need the SID, the single sign-on signature that relates to your Windows login, also indicate on that printout that it is actually an authentic document really approved by you. I hope that answers you. I can also engage you. I can also engage you outside this, and we discuss this further. But for your comfort, it is very, very possible, and some of our clients are already using that.
Perfect. You've answered me.
Okay, we also got some expectations before this presentation. Some of the people are expecting to see Dynamics CRM. CRM in itself is also a very, very broad product, and we couldn't pull it into the ERP demonstration, but I can engage you privately, or you can reach out to me on email if you want to see a demo on CRM. However, we are already planning on organizing a demonstration on CRM. Other people wanted to see SharePoint Online, and then also capabilities of other Microsoft products like Power BI on its own is also broad, and the rest. So we are already planning to organize these demonstrations. However, if you have a particular product and you feel like you can't wait, you need to see it, you can drop me an email, and then we can organize privately with your organization and your team and see how to get that done. Yeah, thank you. Ronald, I don't know if there are any other questions.
No, I don't have any question. I only see that our poll has not been responded to.
Yes, I see that also. Well, I guess if before you leave, you can just go through the meeting chat and see if you can help us.
Can you share that, Ida? Can you share that poll with them right now?
Okay.
Okay.
Ronald?
Oh, we have another question.
Not really a question. This is Rodney from API.
Okay.
And about your poll, every time I try submitting my vote, it says unable to reach up. I think that's why everyone else is having a challenge. I don't know, but that's what I'm getting on my side.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that valued feedback. We will investigate that for our next webinars. Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, that is it. Have a very fantastic Friday afternoon. Bye, all of you.
Thank you all for participating. I'll send the video meeting recording. In case you missed anything, you can just watch it and pick up on that. Also, in case you have any other inquiries, you can reach me on email, and then we can discuss in details. All right, have a good rest of your day.